Man from the School of Self-Mastery here, and I'm ready to give you something a little different today. Well, basically, it's all about kindness, being kind, and developing some moral integrity. Before we get into kindness, first, let's just mention for a little bit care, 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 care for your neighbors, care for your fellow man, care for your creatures, care for your animals. Care for animals in general. Being a vegetarian. Not killing. Only doing it when it's necessary. Understanding and respecting the flow of life. These are things that are very important for us. We have to understand these things in order to actually truly evolve as species. Be above that. When it comes to kindness, that's probably one of the highest forms of spirituality that you can actually muster up. Somebody talks to you, you're kind back. And what I can tell you is that from my experience, those of you who want to live that positive lifestyle, that can lead you down many because when you want to live positive lifestyles, you don't want to live in any negative lifestyle, which is great. But what I'm here to talk about is the mastering of duality and how we care and not care on certain things. So let's just say caring about what people think. You do care about what people think. You also don't care about what people think. It's a combination of both. It's and you combine things. That's what you start to learn when you're on your spiritual journey. Is that things are combined. It's and. It's and. It's this and that. It's left and right. You can go both ways. Um, but no, some things are not, as you can see. Some you can't go both ways. You just go one way on one thing. So under your discretion. You have to figure this out for yourself. Now, along my journey, I found that the elite bankers, the corporations that are doing us wrong, have to change, and they're gonna change. Or Jesus is gonna come back. He's gonna change everything. So I mean, that's pretty much when it comes down to that. I was watching this TED talk, and it's talking about us building wooden buildings, and doing things for our environment, and that way wooden buildings. Imagine that. The CO2 in there lowering greenhouse gas. I believe it was about like 40%, 46% of it comes from buildings, and then 33% and 34% comes from actual transportation. And there's a small percentage that was for something else. I wasn't so sure what that was. I just saw a TED Talk. I should remember that. But we're moving, we're progressing as a species, and we're here to tell you that there is a dimension, a density that is called fifth dimension consciousness, and is basically where you are living in duality and you understand duality. You are duality. You are the creator of duality, and you're basically integrated in alignment with that highest nature of which you are, and that's what it actually, in a sense, is. You're not necessarily resisting things. Sometimes things are, to cry about, or if you want to cry, if that's what you need to do. I honestly suggest that there's no need to cry. There's no need to cry for anything really. Not even for yourself. Not even for that. There's no. Eventually, comes to the point where you're not gonna have to cry, and then there could come a point where you might have to cry, and that's the best way to actually get around it, is to actually cry. So, I mean, that's typically up to you and how you're supposed to feel those things in a certain moment. But everything is just a mind frame and a mindset, and as you are aware that is actually what we're tapping into. So basically, Einstein says that energy is simply created, and it's not created, but it simply exists, and whatever you match yourself to is what you actually bring into your table, into your field. So basically is when you want to create the reality that you choose, you have to literally resonate at that frequency and do it and be that frequency and do it and be and act in that way to actually create more in your life. Now, some people will get confused and say, okay, you don't have to take action on certain things, but you actually do have to take action on certain things. You gotta actually move things in the right direction and actually know what the right direction is. You're here to help people. So when you constructively criticize, when you constructively say, hey, this is not healthy. You're not doing this. It's not doing that, and that's fine. You're doing that for the benefit of all. Now, you can do things subtly. You can do things downright forward. You can be so many things about it, but think about how Jesus would do it. And Jesus was one to challenge people. He wasn't so like he did it, and he was challenging people to do the same. And the Pharisees didn't really like that about him. He was changing the whole game. And as you learn, in this journey, is that you have to kill him with kindness. You have to be kind and be kind back, and not do anything in opposition to that. Really, you have to actually be kind and continuously do that, no matter what, because that is what kills all forms of violence, is the kindness. So that's what we're here waking up to. And I'm glad Jesus is here, and he has done this for us already. And he has set the example with that light being spread. Now we're entering into the Christ consciousness grid, where we're all becoming Christ-like beings, or Christ beings. We'll all have that love, because if you're not with Christ, then you're actually against him. And if you say you're with love, then you're with Christ. Okay, it's synonymous. If you're not with Christ, then you're not with love. So then that means you're against Christ, and you have things in store for you. Things are gonna happen to you. Things are gonna you're gonna be you're gonna yeah you're gonna learn. You'll learn. There's a plan for you, and that's why prayer is one of the highest forms of magic, or highest forms of achievements, or highest forms of um, power, really. Prayer is one of the highest forms of wisdom and the highest forms of magic, where you can actually do things for people and help them in such a way through the simple prayer, and what you're praying about, your intentions on praying, what it is that you're doing with that prayer. So that's basically what's come down to in this. And what I've learned is that prayer is the highest form. It's the highest form of magic. I believe there's some stories with Mother Teresa. I believe where she would be praying and she'd be floating in the room. That's how powerful she was with prayer. How much God was able to bestow on her what she was doing. So, without further ado, I want you to understand certain things about life, certain things that I have learned along the way. People care, okay? And some people don't care. And unfortunately, there are those who don't care, who have learned to not care because they find it easier to not care. Caring can be very difficult, and it can be very excruciating, depending on your level of care, and depending on how much you're caring and how much you're actually taking that toll on you, or taking a toll on others. If you know you're doing the best that you can, there's nothing that you really can do besides care more, and that's all you can do. Thankfully, the one who came in and who did that for us, and that's why I want to help you all with the burden of this, is Christ. Christ did that for us. He did that for us. The example was set, and he was predestined. He was predestined to do these kinds of things. And that's where we are today. He has done it. So basically, that whole martyrer thing has been fulfilled. It has been done. We know about it. People talk about Jesus all the time. His word is being preached everywhere, and he's our leader. He's the leader. Okay, he's the leader. Him, Jesus. Jesus is the leader. He has proven himself worthy of our sacrifice to him, or of our servitude, of our willingness to want to be with him, and to aspire to work with him, and to have him help us, and us help him, us do our part in helping build his kingdom. That's what we're here doing now. So there are many people here on earth who are in the Christ consciousness grid, who are building his kingdom now. We are building the kingdom now. Now, I heard some plans that he won't be coming, and I've heard things like that, and honestly, to me, it matters whether or not he comes or not. Same time, I think it matters what we do at this from this point on. You know, to honor His requests and to do as He says, to do as He commands, and to do that for all. Okay, and to live by that example, and so people can see what kind of person you really are and how you really walk the talk. Okay, how you really walk the talk. Now, when it comes to building character, this is something that you got to start to see for yourself, that character is something that is innate and that is within you. And it is what sculpts who you are. It sculpts it. It's like you're a spirit, right? And the mold of your character determines who you are. Now, character involves words with like duty, honor, sacrifice, um, you know, care. We can go into that care, um, kinship. I believe that's a word, and overall, just looking out for the common good and for the common man. You know, looking out for one another. Living in a way that is thinking on behalf of others, because it's very easy. It's a very easy path to just say, I'm going to focus on myself and not worry about anybody else. Um, it's very easy to say that kind of stuff. It's very easy to say that. It's very easy. Very easy to say because you don't have to care or worry about anybody else. You don't have to do that, right? You just live your own life and you're just away from everything. Well, those who have character, they realize with their actions are in alignment with the highest good, and they want to care for other people, and they would want to cry, and they want to mourn, and they want to, uh, you know, do these things for other people because that's what their character has been brought up to be. Now, a character also can bring about, you know, a very strong change within you, or you could want to strive to be a much better human being. That's human being. That's what most people talk about. They don't really talk about, but they don't necessarily talk about character. And I talk about the Christian character. I'm reading this book about the Christian character. You can download for free. It's the Christian character, and it's very intense book. And I'm reading it now, and I just started it, and it's talking about some very interesting things, such as how, you know, one can learn to strive from duty, where it's like an obligation, and then you can start to make it seem it's just joyful. It's joyful. It's a joyful experience. You know, just serving. You know, it's this joyful experience. So it's very cool to see that kind of contrast, because some people who want to not deal with religion, they'll do it for some other reason. They'll do it like the hard way, and it won't be in a sense enjoyable, but they'll still do it. They'll still do things, but it won't be enjoyable and it won't be nice for them. It's just more of an obligation that they gotta fulfill. So it's very different when you're with Christ and when you're not with Christ, how things work out and how things pan out. So with that in mind, you know, it's kind of changed me a bit because, you know, now I see what side I'm working on. Okay, I used to not have a side. I used to think I put myself in the position of like a ninja or a lone wolf, and was like, okay, everybody is against me, or anybody could be an enemy. They could be trying to manipulate me or to destroy me or to hurt me or to whatever. And I didn't, and I even thought the Bible was like that too. I put everything on the table. I was there to question everything. And what has led me to believe is that Christ really is the Savior. Like, He really did it. Like, and I still have not read the entire Bible, the entire New Testament. Back and forth. I have not read it yet. I have not. I have watched videos. I've been reading, but I have not read the whole thing yet. And I'm letting you know what I've discovered up till now. And I'm 24. I'm 24. Like I've been doing this research and this testing for quite some time, and it's led me down to really dark places within my psyche and within my soul. Um, and I really do not wish to ever go back there or to ever experience those things again, because I'm done with that. You know, I'm literally done. I know what side you're working on, and you know what side to cry for. When you know what side to cry for, that's when you got it. Now, Jesus is the all-time, um, savior. So you don't necessarily have to cry when somebody dies, because Jesus is here. He's within us. He's there to save us, and he takes us to heaven. And we're just here to pass a test. We're here to get ourselves into that point where we are good. And as long as we're doing our part, as long as we believe in Christ and we live in those virtues, um, which is what we do anyways, which is what we want to do, which is what we strive to do, which is how we want to live. We simply care, and caring is one of the biggest things. And learning to do things for other people is very important. It's very crucial. It's fundamental to our understanding as human beings, and because it has come to my understanding that we humans have probably, maybe, have had one of the hardest incarnations, have one of the hardest tasks to actually master the human experience, to actually understand the human experience, to comprehend it. And Jesus did it. He did it. He was the Son of God. Um, he did it, and that's what we believe, and that's what we preach. He did it. If you're looking for the answers, they're there. Okay? And you have to just learn to just be good. Things in society may be okay, that you hurt someone or you don't care, or you just live your own thing and you don't pay attention, and you know dysfunctional families and whatnot. um that's not normal, man. That's not normal. To think that is normal is pretty scary thing to actually think about. It's not normal. It's horrible. It's what is happening, and it happens, and we're changing it as we move along, and that's why we have to work at it and just be better examples, be better lights, so that people ask, well, what is it that you do? Well, I'm a being of light, and I love Jesus Christ, and I love what he's done for me, and I love what he's done for the world. And that's what I'm here, and that's what I represent. So, without further ado, I would like to compliment you for watching this video, and for bringing yourself to me and bringing yourself to this experience, because I'm glad that I get to share this message to you. I'm glad that I get to talk to you and to preach to you and to help you see what I have not seen, and you know what I have not seen in the past, per se. Like, I'm seeing the light now as we speak, and it's a really heartening process. Like, it fills your soul, and it fills your right brain hemisphere. See, the evil occultists, the evil ones, you can say, they want you to be very left brain dominant. Very left brain dominant, considering you only use your left brain and your reptilian. There's three parts of your brain. So there's like the neocortex, right, is the top part, and then below, inside that, is the mammalian, and then in the brainstem is the reptilian part of the brain. So it's basically like neocortex is the higher functions of the brain, like art, creativity, logic, things like that. And the mammalian part of the brain is kind of more of like your emotions, and um, where your pineal gland is located, and your pituitary gland, and things of that nature. It's located there. It's where the seat of your soul is at. And then there's the reptilian cortex, which is part of your basic survival, your subconscious. It's like where your body's functions and things of that nature. Those things are there. And so when you're very left brain dominant, as many people can be, um, you can really be stuck in a very fear-like state, or you're very basically, how would you say, you're very logical. You're very just, um, let's say, non-faith based, and very technical, and very precise in your measurements, but when taken to the extreme, you can be controlling and dominant and very reptilian-like, because you start to if that's more dominant, you use that more with your reptilian part of your brain, and you start to be just too much. Like, you know how police officers or the military can be. It's just that structure is very left brain. It's very left brain. And then you have the religious sides, the extreme religious sides, that are very right brain. That's where your mammalian part of your brain, your mammalian, you're kind of run by your emotions. You can be run by your emotions too much. You know, and you make mistakes. You don't think things clearly, and you just do things, and you get into trouble. You know, those type of things. That's kind of what happens when you're very right brain dominant. So, you know, when it comes to religion and when it comes to these things, you know, Christ, and I'm gonna say that it has been opening up my right brain more. That that faith has been opening up my right brain more. My right eye has been opening up more. It's been, you know, a lot better. I've been able to see clearer now, things that I have not seen before, and it's knowing that, you know, being a part of the good, you know, the light, the good, that the ones that are not creating harm, you know, is being a part of that source, okay? And there's some that are creating disturbances on purpose, and that's not cool at all. That's really bad, and that actually gets me fired up. But that's why I know prayer, and I know things of that nature, or me taking action, me doing things, doing these videos, increasing the awareness of increasing these overall messages. It gets people kind of going and gets them flourishing. They get to know what it is that we're doing, what it is that we're here to do as a species, as the light on this earth, and what we're gearing for and what we're, you know, manifesting. Um, so that's basically that's without further ado. I think that's basically it. I think that's enough for. I think that's enough for right now. Um, if there's anything I'm missing, please let me know. Um, but coming from that place of kindness, yeah, you know, this is what we love to do as human beings. You know, it's like living in a society where kindness is normal. You know, our kids are learning to, we're learning. Parents are learning from their kids. Like, parents are becoming better parents. We're becoming more emotional based, more heartening, more loving, more understanding. Not you're good and bad, or I'm not gonna talk about parenting so much, but um, basically what I've been hearing around and from Teal Swan is conscious parenting, being very conscious with them, being very present with them, um, and that's basically what we're moving into. And our children, I think believe they're called diamond children now. They're responding well to us, and they're creating a new wave for us all to ascend together. Um, you know, according to Matt Kahn, September 27th, 2015, we are going to be part of the first wave of ascension. Um, speaking for the first third of the population is going to be in what's called fifth dimension consciousness by that time, and that's going to be really cool how things work out in there. Well, some people are still not going to be quite there yet, and they're going to eventually get there with the second and third wave of ascension, which will be later on, but we'll see how that goes and how that pans out. And I'm just basically telling you what's happening right now, what I've been hearing, what's been going on in the community, and what's been, you know, said, and what I've been hearing. Um, when it comes to, let's say, wars and the things of that nature, I don't know. Prophecy says, or things can be either way. Jesus comes, so I'm fine with that, you know. And if by some chance he does not come, or he doesn't come for some reason, or I don't know, whatever, he doesn't come, or he's already here, no, he doesn't come. Um, I don't think that's gonna happen, but you know, we're here, and we're enjoying the process, and we're living in the love and the light, and we're spreading that message more. Um, and it's just great to see, great to see smiles on people's faces, to create that atmosphere for people. And join a church, join a church, it's nice to see people at church. Church is a nice place to be, You get to learn about the Word, and you get to learn about God, you get to learn about Christ, you get to learn all these things. And it's very humbling to go to these places and to just learn, to just be there, and see the miracles that have been done. Now, I think that's about it for tonight. I'm gonna go to sleep. I have work in the morning, so at Primerica, that's where I work, and hopefully I'll see you all very soon. See you all soon. Take care now.